Hey, welcome to Fiber Lakes Garage, the home of random projects. We have lists, we have Jeeps, we have trucks, we have food. You name it, we got it. So help out the channel by just hitting that subscribe button. And if you like the video, go ahead and like it. And if you really like the video, like it and then tell a friend. But stay tuned, enjoy yourself. I'm gonna let you go because I got stuff to do. Hey, welcome back. Today we're actually going to fix a slight issue that I had the other day. As you probably already know from some of the videos, I really like to go out onto the trails on either with the off-road vehicle or with my bicycle. Well, last time I took my bicycle out, I kind of had a problem. Check out the footage from me hoofing my bike out of the woods. Hey, welcome to the suck factor. Yep, went out here to Harris Lake, got around about 1.5 miles in, and then my rear tire locked up. Now this happened once before, and I would have to say the reason for that was a lack of maintenance. I knew it was creaking, I knew that it was about that time to actually get some maintenance done on it, and I procrastinated. I can get one more ride in, mostly because it is beautiful out. It's like in the 70s, low humidity, great for riding. But don't be a fool, don't do like I did, and maintain your bike. Check out some of the other videos about maintaining it. We're going to go ahead and film one about fixing this thing. Not sure when that's going to be, hopefully this weekend, but it depends on the severity of the problem. Now last time this happened, what it was is that the bearings was not preset properly on the rear. I didn't know about it at the time. It was brand new. Got it from the factory, figuring, hey, they know what they're doing. They wouldn't be able to have it, not right. I was wrong. So I got that all fixed up, and now it's my own fault. I neglected it, and now I'm hiking it out of the woods, and it's a long way out. Anyway, let's see if we can get this thing fixed. Stay tuned. All right, so what exactly happened? Well, my rear tire, there's a bearing that fits right inside here, and this is the side that the brake is on. Well, they got some trash or something like that inside, and it started to lock up. Now, when it did that, it started to unscrew the lockers. So it started unscrewing the caps on the actual axle itself. Well, that started pushing out onto the frame. I should have realized what was happening because it started making some weird noises. But like I said in the other video, yeah, I can do it. I can do it next time. I'll just get one more ride in. Yeah. Now I'm not riding, and it's my own fault. So what are we gonna do today? Well, I went out and finally found. I have to say, I'm not the craziest thing about my Diamondback right now, only because finding parts. Oh my gosh. Anyway, so I picked this guy up. It is basically a direct replacement for the hub that actually came in the other one. Now, this one actually comes already pre-assembled. The only thing you need to do is actually start putting in all the spokes. You just need to re-spoke your wheel. It's not a huge deal, but you do have to be careful and you have to pay attention to exactly what you're doing. Now, the good thing is that I still have the old one to reference. So what I'm going to do is take some notes, take some measurements, and find out where everything goes, and then I can put it towards my front one to make sure that I got it right. So one thing about tearing these things apart, if you take your free hub off, just know there's going to be ball bearings that go everywhere. But if you buy the whole hub, you don't have to worry about it because it's all going to become pre-assembled. So what we're going to do today is actually I'm going to disassemble the wheel, the tire, all the way down to the hub so I can get the spokes off, be able to put it on my new one, and then put my tire back on. So, guess what? You're coming with me. So let's go. All right, so we have our basic tire. The first thing you want to do is let the air out because you need to get the rubber off. Oh no, now I have a flat tire. This is only flat on one side. All right, so we got all the air out, so now we have a flat tire. So basically you're just gonna go around and pull the tire off the rim. All right, grab yourself a really big screwdriver. And now you're just gonna rim that up and then just run it around. You can get your fingers in there, that's even better. Now you have to be careful because there is a inner tube inside and you don't want to put a hole in that or else you're replacing the inner tube. All right, so once your tire is completely off on one side, find your stem, take off your retainer little nut, looks about like that. Then you should be able to get your inner tube out. There we go. Toss this over to the side. All right, so we still need to get the rest of the tire off. Same thing you did on the other one. Break the bead off. Do that all the way around. And there you go, you got your tire off. I might replace that since I'm here. So, one thing you want to do is find the seam of your inner liner. Now this right here is actually a protection so you don't pop your tube. And also this guy here is actually ready for a tubeless tire. All right, so it's ready for a tubeless tire, so we need to find right here. Now once I pull this off, you either A, have to replace it or never go tubeless, which as of right now, I am not worried about going tubeless. All right, so basically you got most of it off. The biggest thing you want to do is actually make sure you can get down into these holes because there's two ways of actually removing the spoke. One, you can use a little spoke tool, kind of sort of like this. You find the right size and then you can actually twist it off. Well, there's an easy way to do that as well, but sometimes it's not that easy. So if you look deep down inside, anyway, so if you can see in there, there's actually a flat-headed area that you can use a regular screwdriver on. So then you have to take off every single one of them. This is a 32 spoke wheel, so you have to get them all off. So the best way to do it is actually take your front tire off and use that as a reference, just so you don't have to worry about it. So first order of business, take off all the spokes. All right, so basically I took off one. So there's your spoke. It just has a little knob on one end. It's got threaded rod on the other. And this is what it's screwed into. So that's where the flathead that I was telling you about. And then of course it screws in on the bottom. Now you can go ahead and keep that over to the side and we're gonna take them all off. And don't worry, you can figure it out once you put them all back together. All right, got all the spokes off. Make sure you count all your spokes. You should have 32 if it's a 32 spoke rim. Also, count how many of these little nut things that you have. If you have 32 spokes, you need 32 of these. Now what we're gonna do with these guys here is I'm gonna spray it down with some cleaner and then lube them up just to make it a lot easier to be able to get it into the bike. Now, I'm looking at my rim and I kind of have a problem. That right there, I must have hit something pretty darn hard. So this is just basic aluminum. So what I'm gonna do is just get a hammer and dolly, just kind of pound that out a little bit and make it good again. I'm gonna go get my hammer, be right back. All right, so what we have here is a little hammer here. Now do not hammer nails with these things. These are called body hammers for a reason. Leave it up to the body. This right here is a dolly. So this right here is just a flat piece of steel that you're gonna put in. Where's it at? There it is. So I'm gonna put this on the outside and I'm gonna use my little flat to actually beat it into place. All right, so sorry you couldn't see that too much. So I got it out okay. It could be a little bit better, but I do not want to ding it up too bad. The rest of it looks pretty good. So now we need to take our new hub, put our spokes on, and then put it on our wheel. But first I'm gonna clean those up because they're nasty. Be right back. All right, so I pulled off my front wheel on my bike just to have a visual reference. I've actually took some pretty okay notes, so I should be okay, but just in case, I got this one. Now, a couple things about dealing with these type of wheels. Try your hardest not to touch the discs. Yes, you can clean it off, but it's a pain in the butt. All right, so let's see what we got. All right, so I counted 10 earlier. Apparently I can't count. So it is my hub. Here we go. All right, so we got our hub here. So we're gonna take our spokes and we're gonna put it in from the back side, every other one. And this is how I'm gonna start it. Some people have different ways of doing it. This is just my way. Am I a professional? No, I'm not. And there's also a tool that you can get that's specifically to take those little nuts off. I don't have that tool. That's why I use a screwdriver. All right, there's my starting point. This is what I want to have right here. All right, so we have it on every other one, like I said. So basically, pick one. All right, now stick it all the way through. Hopefully you can see that. Yep. So stick it all the way through and then screw one on. Now count how many turns that you do, because you want to have them all pretty much equal or else you get a wobbly wheel. So we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4 turns. Pull it in. All right. Next one is 4 up. So count them. 1, 2, 3. Here we go. Here's 4. Maybe. There you go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Next. All right, so we're ready to put the spokes back in. I already put in, I guess 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of them. But basically, you just kind of go through, you pick a hole. And then for your next one, you put one in, you skip one, put one in, skip one, put one in, skip one. And you basically put it up here, count over 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, boom, add another one. 1, 2, 3, 4, boom, add another one. Go all the way around. That will cover the first side. Now, when you cover the second side, that's actually pretty darn easy because all of the ones that have the spoke on the inside of the hub is going to be aimed in the same direction. You're going to go on the outside. That's going to be aimed in the opposite direction because basically they're going to be pulling against each other. So what I'm going to do with this one, here we go. So I have my one spoke here. And I'm going to take the one that is directly across of it, which is this one, and I'm going to put it right next to it. And once I do this, guess what the next one is? Yep, same thing, all the way around. Now make sure these stay loose because you're going to need space on both sides in order to tighten it down. There we go. See? Nice, quick, and easy. Now it's very loose, which is fine. That's what we kind of want. So now we want to do the other side. So basically you're going to take your little spoke, and now instead of going from the outside in, we're going to go from the inside out. Let's see if you can see. All right. So once we get this guy up, well, we got to figure out where it's going to go. Now also keep in mind that when you route this spoke, it's going to go in, out, depending on the route. So let's look at our old tire and make sure we get it right. All right, so I just checked it over on the other tire. So basically when you have this one, you're gonna go over this next one, go under this one, and then go into the next hole. Now, one little tip here, if you grab yourself an extra spoke, you can grab your little guy here and put it and thread it just slightly over there so you can actually fit it in the hole and actually get it in. Now, you don't want to use this to screw it on, you just want to get it to guide it. So then you pull it out and then use your screwdriver. All right. Now, we're going to grab our next spoke. Now, what you would probably want to do is just start from the next one, work your way around. The only problem with that is that it gets all kittywampus. So we're going to go directly opposite. So this was the spoke I just did. I'm going to go exact opposite on this side and route that one. So remember, it goes over one, under the next, and into the next hole. So over one, under one, next hole. And I sure hope you can see that, because I still miss my camera crew. All right, starting to take shape. Got a few of them up there. Now, just keep in mind, if they do bend, don't bend them too much because they will break. And then you're gonna have to go through and do this all over again. But if you are nice and easy with them, then you should be fine. Okay, so we just did 2 more on this side. Now what we wanna do is do 2 on this side and cross it up to where it is not going to be pushing or pulling onto each other. So, okay, so this is the one I just put in. So it goes over the next one, under the next, and then over to the next hole, which will be right there. All right, so we just put this one in. Now we're gonna put one directly across from it. All right, there you go. So basically what you're gonna do is the same routine over and over and over again until you get it all the way around. Now just remember, when you put in these guys here, cross it up. Don't go all the way around in one side because it will start getting twisted and then it's really hard to get on. Ask me how I know. Learn from experience on that one. The other thing is, remember, when you on your second spoke, it goes in the opposite direction and it goes over your next one, under your next one, and then up to your next hole. So keep doing that all the way around and I'll see you when it's done. All right, all of our spokes are in. They look fantastic. Now it's still really wobbly because we have not tightened them up yet. So basically what the next step is to actually go all the way around there and actually tighten them up as even as possible. And then what you're gonna do is, once you get everything as even as you can, we're gonna put it on the bike because I don't have a wheel stand. I was thinking, actually crossed my mind actually making one real quick. It should be pretty easy. Just have a stand with a bolt going through it and be able to spin it. But I'm gonna go around and tighten up every one of them to pretty close to being the same. And then once I get all that sort of tightened up, we're gonna go to the bicycle and actually put it on there, and we are going to true it up. So anyway, it's gonna be a lot of tedious stuff. You probably don't really care about looking at it, but I'll show you the end result once I'm done. All right, so I had the bike on the stand, also had the wheel back on. It rolls fantastically, but as you can see, that wheel is wonky. So what we're gonna do is actually take all of the area that is, if it goes this way, we're gonna pull it that way. Yeah, if it swings that way, we're gonna pull it that way. Also, look at the top of it and see how much it goes up and down. Because if it goes up and down, that means your spokes are too tight on one side, loosen on the other side. So this is where they get all the big money, because this is annoying as crap. So anyway, what I'm gonna do is actually go in and then I'll put my finger close to it. Okay, so this right here needs to go this way. So I'm gonna tighten the spokes on this side. Now it's not just the one, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4 in order to get this over. So I'm gonna take my little tool and tighten them up. Now I'm not gonna do too much. I'm just gonna do a couple of turns, and eventually all these are gonna be nice and tight. All right, all my spokes are pretty tight. And if you turn it, well, the whole thing's kind of shaking, but it's got a little bit of a wobble to it, but it's not too bad for being freehand. And I don't have a rig, I don't have a jig, or whatever you want to call the darn things. But I'm pretty happy with it. It's got a little bit of a to it, but it's not horribly bad. Now, unfortunately, I do not have the tape to cover up all these holes, so I'm going to adapt and overcome. When I get a new tire, actually I'm going to replace both tires, I'll go get the actual tape itself and actually redo it. So what I'm going to use right now would be some electrical tape. All right, so why am I going to use electrical tape? Well, it's a little bit flexible, so it should be able to stay together. That's all you really want to do is cover up those holes so that it does not puncture your tube. All right, next thing you need to do is find your valve stem. There it is. Valve stem is right about there. So you need to make that a hole. All right, so we have our gears in there. So if you remember this guy, now I just used the old one. So I kind of cleaned it off a bit with my shirt because that's what we do. So basically you're gonna start it just like that. Then you're gonna go in and get your special tool. And you're going to tighten that up. Now, do you need to get a ratchet? It's a 1/2 inch. All right, there is a torque setting to put this down. You can look it up. There we go. There we go. We're going to flip it over. Now, again, do not touch the blades on that. So we're going to stick this guy on. And then we have another nut and washer. Don't forget your little washer that's in there. This will help it stay on. All right, so once again, grab a hold of your wrench. All right, so once we get everything in there, I'm going to go through the spokes one more time to make sure I got them all nice and tight. But now we need to put a tire on. So this side here is very simple. Now we're only going to put one side on at a time because we need to get the inner tube in there. Alright, so as you can see, we got it on one side. We do not have it on the other. Where's my inner tube? Alright, you got to find your hole where your valve stem is, which is right here. Just stick our valve in. And then we're going to take the same nut that we took off earlier, this guy here. All right, so now you want to make sure that it's not twisted or anything like that, so you're just going to tuck it in. All right, once you get all that in there, you're just going to feed the other side in. Make sure you do not pinch that inner tube. And pump it up. So what I like to do is actually pump it up, let the air out, pump it up again, let the air out. And what that's going to do is actually reform that inner tube around so you don't pinch. So if you pinch it, then you're going to have a problem later about it popping. So anyway, I'm going to get the pump it right up. All right, so I got about 20 PSI in there. I'm going to undo this. And what I'm going to do is bounce it on the ground, get rid of some of the pockets here. So now I'm gonna let the air out. And you can hear it inside kind of relaxing a little bit. Guess what? Time to blow it up again. All right, I sure hope that helps you a little bit on how to re-spoke a rim. Now this still needs a few more little tweaks. Looking at it with the tire on, it looks like I gotta kick it over that way just a little bit. So basically all I'm gonna have to do is loosen up this side, tighten the other side, and then we'll move the rim over. That's one of the things, if you don't have a truing rack, yeah, you're just gonna have to deal with it. So, I'm gonna go ahead and do that. I'll probably do that tomorrow. I gotta go inside and do laundry. Yay. Gotta get that housework done. Anyway, but we are one step closer of actually getting this thing back onto the trail, which is fantastic, and that's where I want to be. So if you have any questions, leave it down in the comments. Hopefully I'd explain it relatively okay for you to understand it and actually maybe go out and do it yourself on your bike. Anyway, enjoy. Don't forget to like, subscribe if you like the video. Subscribe if you want to see more about it. And we will catch you later, hopefully on the trail. Later.